5 bodies that refused to rot. Number 1. The Churchin Man. The Churchin Man is one of the most known bodies that refused to rot. The man died around 1000 BC in China and is also one of the oldest specimens in existence. The Churchin Man was tall for the region as he stood 6.5 feet above the ground. The man was found buried next to 3 women and an infant. The mummies are of European descent, but they were found in China. The man, along with the others, are actually 3,000 years old. No one really knows why this European man, along with his companions, were so far from their home. There were no indications or clues found when they were discovered, so that part of their history has remained a mystery, albeit a morbid one. Number 2. Saint Bernadette. Saint Bernadette was from France and lived from 1844 to 1879. She was born in Lourdes, France, to be precise. The woman lived a tormented life because she reported several apparitions. Most of her apparitions seemed to be evil in nature, though she was once visited by the Virgin Mary, who led her to discover a spring in France that many visitors say has curative properties. The spring is a very popular attraction in France, which has a very morbid story that tourists are treated to once they arrive. Bernadette was taken from this life at age 35 from tuberculosis. She was buried but years later was exhumed only to find that her body was in pristine condition. Bernadette was buried 2 more times before those who exhumed her decided that she needed to be preserved elsewhere. Some parts of her dead body were repaired before she was sent to her final resting place. She is now kept in the Chapel of Saint Bernadette. Number 3. Dashidorzo Itigilov. Itigilov is from Russia and lived from 1852 to 1927. The man was actually a Russian Buddhist monk. Buddhism is alive and well in Russia. Itigilov died while he was chanting and in the lotus position. Yes, his death occurred during a religious service, which many find strange to say the least. He left instructions to be buried in the way that he was found, which turned out to be in this strange position. Nevertheless, people listened to his wishes and buried him in the exact way he was found. Monks exhumed his body back in 1955, only to find that he had mummified. The monks now leave him out for display to be honored by others. The monks believe that dying mid-chant is a very peaceful way to cross into the afterlife. Number 4. La Doncella. La Doncella was found in South America, and she probably died somewhere between 1450 to 1480. The young girl died when she was around 15 years of age, which saddens most people who visit her. The fact that she was so young and that she was killed with 2 other children means that she was part of a ritual sacrifice. The sacrifice was performed by the ancient Inca civilization. It was in 1899 that archaeologists who were studying the region found her mummified body. She was sitting cross-legged when Doncella died. Experts say that she was drugged, which made her go to sleep. The Incas took her to one of the coldest regions of their empire and left her to freeze to death. This was done as a sacrifice to the sun god. The cold temperatures in this dry region seem to be the reason that her body was so well preserved. Her mummified body is definitely a reminder of a barbaric practice, not to mention a reminder that human nature is definitely strange. Number 5. Rosalia Lombardo. Rosalia Lombardo lived in Sicily, Italy for a few years. Rosalia lived from 1918 to 1920. The sweet young girl only lived 1 short year and was buried in a coffin that would make anyone tear up because she died so young. Rosalia Lombardo was buried in the catacombs of the Capuchin monks, where she still lays. Her body was one of the last bodies to be admitted to the Capuchin catacombs of Palermo. The 1-year-old child died of pneumonia, which was a common way to die in those days. The father, understandably so, was extremely grieved and begged for a noted embalmer to preserve his daughter in the best way possible. The embalmer's name was Alfredo Salfia, who was an artist of his craft. He was not able to refuse such a request and granted the father's wishes. Rosalia is so well preserved compared to some of the other bodies that have survived so long that it is astonishing to witness. Visitors call her the Sleeping Beauty of the Capuchin Catacombs. This is because the little baby looks like she is simply sleeping in her small coffin. Subscribe for more.